guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a 2-tier mounted market basket thing. So the things you'll need are 7/8 inch screw hooks, a couple baskets, some paint, a paintbrush, sealer, something to paint on, and of course a board. I'm gonna link everything that I used below, but once again, like my chalkboard video, I'm using this white chalkboard paint, which I absolutely love. I kind of once again wish that I had done one coat when it comes to distressing later, but I think I did 2 coats on this and it worked really well. So I just went ahead and covered this board in white chalk paint. So I waited 2 hours for it to dry and then I did another coat. If you want to distress, it's probably a little easier to just do one. I then waited for that to dry and made those little vinyl decals. I have a how I did that in my wooden sign tutorial, which I'll post below, but I just laid everything out how I thought I'd want it. And then I went and made holes in the board where I wanted to put my little screws to hold the basket. This was my favorite way that I saw on how to hang baskets on a wood board like this. I didn't want to try to find baskets with the little nail holes or anything like that, and these worked really well. So this board was really hard. I got it on the side of the road, and it was just really dense wood, so I was trying to screw them in like I've done before on other things, and it was not working at all. What worked really well in the end was I just kind of hammered partial holes in with a nail and a hammer and just pulled them out, and that helped a lot for screwing them in. It was still pretty hard to screw them in once it got down to the bottom, but it worked out. So I got these screws on, and now I was going to paint the sign portion of it. I was not sure how this sign would do as far as bleeding through the vinyl, but I wasn't too worried about it because I wanted that farmhouse kind of rustic look, and so some bleeding actually was kind of in my favor. It did end up bleeding a little bit, but again, I like it, and especially from a distance you can't really tell. It wasn't super bad. I'm just using regular acrylic paint on this part. I use acrylic paint when I'm making signs like this. It's just cheap and easy, and it works well. Another side note, as I mentioned in my sign making video, these makeup sponges work really well for applying paint. Then after I painted it, right after, I didn't wait for it to dry, I pulled off the stencil, and it came off pretty well. It didn't lift any of the chalk paint, it didn't lift any wood splinters, so I sanded it pretty well before I did this, and that seemed to work well. To do the lines, I didn't want to make giant stencils for it, so I actually just used some masking tape and kind of eyeballed the frame. And that's what it looked like. You can see there was a little bleeding, but really not too bad, and I think that it works well for the kind of style that I was going for. Yeah, I spilled some paint there and smudged it in, but it's fine. So then I went ahead and used some sandpaper to try to distress. Now, like I said before, this chalk paint is very sturdy, and unlike the frame that I had, the paint was not distressing very well. So then I actually grabbed one of my old steak knives in my kitchen and just kind of scuffed it up on the outsides. It didn't look super natural that way, but then I tried to kind of blend it in with some sandpaper. Once again, I feel like I need some better sandpaper in the future because this sandpaper just shreds to bits when I try to use it. So this is what the sign looks like when it's finished. I love how it turned out. I did not seal it yet because I want it to get a little bit more distressed just naturally because, well, like I said, the sandpaper was not doing it very well. But I really like how it came out so far. The things that I used to hang it on the wall, I hung it on drywall and I used like those gorilla hooks. I will link what I used to mount it to the wall and what hardware I attached to the back of the sign to do that. There's my daughter Evie testing the baskets to see how they stay on. So far I've put pretty heavy stuff in the baskets. I keep apples on the bottom and oranges on the top. Also some bananas get thrown in there too, but the drywall hooks have held up really well. I used two 40-pound hooks, so it should be able to hold up to 80 pounds, and the sign itself weighs 10. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Please like and subscribe if you guys are new, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.